You really are a hair therapist. I love how Elaine phrased that because, and I see you with Zayla massaging her hair and her scalp and all of the beautiful images that you post of her with all of her amazing hairstyles. It's pretty incredible to watch. Let's talk about some styling tips for natural hair at home.
Well, I mean, well, I mean, where do you start? I think, one of the things I've always said as far as a styling tip, I think a lot of what people tend to um, go for are the surface level versus the actual reality of what it is you're trying to embrace. So my tips often start from within for external beauty and greatness. And one of the things that I always say to people, if you're working with your natural hair texture, whatever that may be, allow yourself to be in a space of clarity and one that is enjoying and giving positivity. So I always say, put on great music. Don't do your hair if you're not in a good mood, because you're going to take it out on your hair, which doesn't deserve it. And if you want healthy hair, you have to believe that what you have is beautiful. It all starts in mind. So if you don't believe what you have is a gift and it is wonderful to work with, you're not going to treat it with respect. So I tend to start from those mindsets because that's really for me, the foundation of greatness. And I often really try to re-emphasize that within everything that I do.
I love what Elaine was saying about just even how, rather than yanking and combing so hard, like just to be soft with it. And how do you affirm your hair? What are some tricks to understanding how to affirm your hair?
Well, so this touching, I don't even know how if I can show you on here. It's something that I taught myself because I know what we tend to do is use product or equipment as the escapism to actually doing the job at hand, and not realizing that we have the gift and the tools ourselves, which is our mind, our brain, and our hands, our fingers. Our body is so dynamic in what it can achieve. And if you just take the moment to use your hand, you have a palm, you have buds on your fingers, you have fingerprints. If you just learn how to manipulate them and use them, you bond such a deep relationship with your hair. It is unbelievable. And that in itself is transformative in how you think, because you're feeling versus actually acting to do something. And all those impressions that your texture has on your hand send signals to your brain, and you're connecting and building a relationship. I know it's deep, like mind stuff, but it's really important. And that is the stuff I've been working with my daughter when I'm shampooing her hair or just this morning, I was going to put her hair in a ponytail and I got her to do it with me. So she's feeling her hair in braids, going up in a ponytail. So she's just familiar with the texture, the movement. She slept on it last night, so some curls are a little bit like this. It's okay. Just touch it, embrace it, and learn to know that it's okay. The way that it is beautiful.
I've seen you with Zayla, and she was very small at the time, and he would give Zayla, who's now 2, but at the time, I believe Zayla was probably a couple months old, and you would massage her scalp. And so what tips and advice do you have for, people who are viewing, who have young children and young girls like that, they can start early, like right now?
So one of the main tips that I've been working a lot with parents or guardians is to actually allow the kid the responsibility to do it themselves. I think naturally as parents, we take ownership of them in terms of their identity and what they should and shouldn't be doing. I would say stop. Invite them into the conversation. Ask them, ask them how they're feeling. Ask them, have you felt your hair before? Have a conversation about the hair. Get them to touch the hair when it's wet, when it's dry. When you're putting conditioner or combing, give them a little comb so they can do it with you. Invite them. Don't move them from the experience, especially if it's one that is like Zayla didn't know what that was on her hair, on her head, So I'm having to tell her, oh, this is your hair. This is what it can do. Did you see it go up? Like when it's dry, when it was wet, I was getting her to shake her head. And then we was doing it in the mirror. And at one point she was crying because she was wet and cold. But I was like, oh my God, shake your hair, shake your hair. And she just starts shaking it, and it just transforms the experience, because she's realizing that the hair is moving, there's water flicking everywhere, and it's fine. And I was like, wow, did you see your hair spring up? So it's having these conversations about the true relationships and responsibility that your hair can have if you really identify what greatness it is and the level of manipulation and the power that it has, and it can change in seconds, and that should be celebrated.
I'm seeing a book. I'm seeing a children's book #1. No, literally, I'm like Zayla and her hair. Like I'm seeing your hands. Like there's a book there, because
Yes.
I think to myself, in the part about the agency and the ownership, and it really being a part of you and allowing a child to really honor that for themselves.
Right.
I remember for me, and my family allowed me to kind of self-express, but it was more of a chore and a task. And I think it was a chore. It was like, okay, and they made it a chore too, because it took like 45 minutes to do after they had all the hair bobs and everything on it. And so it felt like a chore to me. And I will tell you, now that I think about it, I've probably kept some of that emotion even now, which, and I always say, I don't like getting my hair done.
Absolutely.
But it should be an opportunity to celebrate.
Yeah, that is, you hit it nail on the head. There's a lot of trauma that we take for the rest of our life, and that's why these moments as a child, as an infant, is so crucial for you to install license, gratitude, respect, and education. So what happens now when Zayla's in the playground or on the field, if someone wants to come up to her and touch her hair, she can actually get them to pause and go, actually, my hair does this and I'd rather you not touch it, versus saying, don't touch my hair, which then also creates confrontation between the person who's really trying to figure out what they're doing and the person just trying to be, don't come nowhere in my private space. Because I still feel that there's this really lack of understanding of the relationships that we have with hair. And Afro hair, the Black community with Black hair, it's so in transit with who we are as humans. We have to be the leaders in teaching people how to respect us. So I think what I've been doing with Zayla is actually giving her the ammunition to communicate that and go, you can touch my hair if you're a hairdresser. And if you're not, then you can't touch it. Versus saying, don't touch my hair. It's like actually giving context and just giving them an understanding that this isn't for you to explore. This is me. And if you're going to touch me without me knowing, then it's a violation of my private space. Absolutely. So it's just, it's just being very accurate and precise about the lack of understanding. And I think that's really important for both people to understand. And hopefully, with this initiative, the Crown Act and the Crown Day is just so been a long time coming. And I'm so honored to be a part of a conversation that is much needed. And, as Elaine said, this is great. I've been working tirelessly. My whole mission is to dampen this noise about hair not being beautiful. All hair textures are beautiful. Afro hair is the most versatile hair out there and the most copied hairstyle out there. But it also needs to be in policies, because some people respond better to rules than ideas and imagery. So I think it's a combination, and it has to be a very layered conversation. And I think we have to come in it from all angles. So this is fantastic.
I spoke earlier with Chase Moore, who was the young man who suffered hair discrimination. And often when we think about hair, we think about Black women, but obviously Black men also have a very specific relationship with their hair, which is why Crown Day is really a celebration for all of us.
Yes.
Have you ever suffered hair discrimination? And I mean, you talked about, growing up Rastafarian and what your relationship with hair was with your mom, but have you suffered hair discrimination? I
mean, I wear a hat and I have my hair wrapped up. I do have some hair underneath here. I've always suffered hair discrimination because I'm naturally ginger. So being a born natural redhead with a Black family and working in these editorial commercial spaces was so baffling to most people. And I used to have my hair in a high ponytail because our hair can hold structure. It defies gravity very well, People would feel like that was a need for them to just wantonly put their hands in my hair without even acknowledging that it's on top of a canvas like my head. And I would always end up doing the matrix, just slowly reverting back and going, what are you doing? And in those moments, I have to recognize I can either be very, I can be rude or I can be educational. And I think one of the things that I learned being in a salon for so many years, where people come in and judge me on my skin color and assume that I only work on Afro hair because I am a Black guy, I took it upon myself to actually shift the narrative and talk to them about what is it that you don't understand, that my hair is as precious as your hair texture, and start to really learn that people just don't really know. And with that deep level of ignorance comes curiosity, and sometimes curiosity inhabits foolish behavior. And so people do stuff that they just would not normally do with their body, like reach out and touch your hair, but they wouldn't do that to their white girlfriend, you know? So just have to say, no, don't do that. But this is what you can do. And you can ask me questions and I can voluntarily express what my hair does and how it feels. And hair discrimination happens every day in my life when it comes to working on set. So, you know, I'm working with some of the most notable women in the world, and we are still having to fight for better understanding and how to manage their expectation about what we need to do for them.
Absolutely. I have you just probably for about 3 more minutes, so or maybe 2.5. What hair wisdom would you give for those looking to go natural? You know, I think a lot of people are on hair. What wisdom would you give for someone looking to go natural?
It's a process, a patience. Nothing happens overnight. You want beautiful skin, you have to drink water. It doesn't happen overnight. You want to be successful after something, you have to keep retraining yourself and acquiring discipline in those spaces. Also, if you are going to go natural and you're in a transition stage with your hair, whether it's being keratin or relaxed or whatever, cut it off. Like, just go for it. Don't do it halfway. Don't talk about your face not being beautiful or your posture. Those are things that you put up against yourself in what your beauty is. Allow yourself to sit and lean into the what if. That is so much beautiful. I'll leave you with this, which is something that I've been mantering for quite a while now internally, and only recently I've figured the words that I've been meaning to say, which is turn your fear into courage.
And we receive it. Thank you so much, Vernon. You are such a force and also such a just source of light. I'm thinking about how I feel better about my hair, just speaking to you, you know, and it makes me want to go give myself a scalp massage, even with my twist in here. So thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome, and congratulations, everyone. This is a phenomenal initiative, and let this continue.
Thank you so much, Vernon.
You're welcome. Have a good day.